What's up out there to all of my gold diggers? This is your girl Rita, also known as the self proclaimed gold digger. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I am so glad to have you. But if you are a fellow gold digger, welcome back. Y'all know I love and I appreciate each and every one of you. So it is Tuesday. You know what time it is. It is time for Tipsy Tuesday. And I know I was absent last week. Hopefully, you saw the video that I posted saying that I was out of the country. And now I am back. So I'm ready to get back into the swing of things and see how things are going and everything. So hopefully, y'all were able to catch any replays or anything like that that might have been going on today. I was trying to make sure I got everything posted, and I'm just going to be giving you some updates from my time in Jamaica. I do have my drink here. I am not really drinking on anything other than tea tonight since I got back. So I want to make sure, and the seasons have changed. So usually when the seasons change, I try and drink some tea in the evening, but I did have a drink earlier. So that is what's going on with that, but I'm not going to keep drinking. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, get into it. We are going to start with our Tipsy Tuesday song. And our song, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to do the other one. So since we have been doing the slower one or the more laid back one, so I figured I would switch it up on tonight. All right, so let's go ahead. So it's Tipsy Tuesday, Tipsy Tuesday, Tipsy Tuesday, Tipsy Tuesday. All right, so yeah, that is the peppy one because I am in a pretty good mood for it to be so late in the evening already, but I am in a good mood because I am on a high from my Jamaica trip. It was just such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience. This was my second time in Jamaica. The first time, though, I don't really remember a whole lot because it was part of a cruise, but this time was definitely memorable. I did post some pics because it was a work trip. So basically, yeah, I was there. It was a missions trip where we were providing eye exams to local children from different schools, and they were the sweetest, sweetest children. Just wonderful, full of love, full of joy. All of the people in Jamaica that I encountered were just such giving and joyful people. It was just so refreshing to see. And that is kind of what leads me into my tip for tonight. It's a very, very simple tip, but just being appreciative of the things that you have. um a lot of these people that I saw, they really did not have a whole lot of things. Like just looking at some of the homes and things like that in the area, looking at some of the vehicles, looking at the roads, like their roads are, some of their roads are crazy. Like they are so doggone narrow and stuff like that. And just the amount of people who make do, the way that there is such a sense of community. Like everybody seems to like look out for one another. Now I'm sure they have crime and they probably have stuff and they have bad things happening just like we do here. But the things that I saw, it was just showing how everyone kind of comes together to try and help and support one another. And it was just so refreshing to see, and just to see how kind everyone was to one another. So it was a really good experience for me to see, especially coming from America, where we take so many things for granted. It also showed me that, like, not to take anything for granted. Like, just be appreciative of all the things that you do have, all the things that God has blessed you with. Just be appreciative of those things, because these people, here's the thing, these people are doing stuff with less resources than I have, and they're doing it with a joyful and a cheerful attitude. Like everybody, majority of the people, now there were some people I saw, but majority of the people, when they were doing their job, they were very pleasant, they were very cheerful. No one had an attitude or anything like that. They were just thankful to be able to do the things that they could do. And that was so refreshing to see, people just enjoying doing the things that they wanted to do. And I think sometimes here in the US, we take so many things for granted, like the ability to be able to work, the ability to be able to have a job. I know sometimes I think I take a lot of the conveniences that we have, things that make our lives easier. I take all that stuff, I take it for granted. But when you see other people in other countries and other areas doing stuff and doing it with less and doing it with so much joy, it really humbles you to make you appreciative of the things that you have. And like, hey, I really need to check my attitude, because if they can do it and they have less than I have, I should really humble myself and do what I need to do. So let's see. Let's see if we have anyone on or anyone commenting. I know I had posted late and I also had the wrong time. So I don't even know if it changed on YouTube when I changed the time. But if not, y'all will just catch the replay and everything. Because so far, I don't see anyone commenting. But that's okay. Just catch the replay. And I'm just going to continue on, because I'm not going to do this again until next Tuesday. Per usual, when you catch the replay, let me know what you are sipping on. Like I said, I just have some tea. That's all I'm sipping on tonight. I did have a drink earlier because we went out to dinner and stuff. But right now, I'm just sipping on some tea to stay refreshed. And also, when you catch the replay too, let me know if you have ever been to Jamaica. Because, like I said, the first time I went, I don't remember a whole lot, but it was over 10 years ago and it was part of a cruise. So we were going to like different places. So Jamaica was just one of the places that we went to. But after spending a week in Jamaica, I already told my husband, like, I'm ready to go back. Like, we need to plan a trip for next year so that we can go back to Jamaica. I went by myself this time, so I want to be able to bring the family, my husband, my kids, all that kind of stuff, bring them on the trip to Jamaica so that they can experience it and see the beauty of not only of the island, but the beauty of the people there. And hopefully my kids can get some perspective and see the differences in the culture from like what the kids have in Jamaica as compared to what they have in the US, in the States. Some of the things that, the little niceties that they take for granted. Because what I did not realize is that the children in Jamaica, they start school very, very early. Like, they start school at age 2. So kind of like how we send our kids to daycare, they're actually going to school at age 2, which I thought was kind of crazy. But that just goes back to that sense of community. Like, everybody is looking out for one another, and it's a community. And like, literally, one of the kids we saw, the youngest we saw, I want to say, was like 3 years old. I don't think we saw a 2-year-old. Was a 3-year-old. But the older sibling would take them to school. And these kids have to walk to school, like walk on these narrow little roads and everything. And the older sibling was only like 6 years old, 6 or 7 years old. So they're walking together to school. But like I said, everybody looks out for one another. And I wish we had more of that now, where we were just looking out for one another instead of everybody looking out for themselves. And I know things have changed. Times are different. You have to be mindful. Like, it's so much evil in the world. And I shouldn't even do air quotes with evil, but there's so much evil in the world that you can't always trust people. Some people don't mean any good by you or whatever, or by the children and stuff, or women and females that they see. But I wish we had a bigger sense of community so that we could all come together and like help one another, like I saw the people of Jamaica doing. So it was just so refreshing to see like how everyone was looking out for everyone I encountered was looking out for one another or trying to help one another and different things like that. And like you didn't have to know the person or anything like that. Yeah, it's just a strong sense of community. And that's one of the reasons I want to be back. Like every time I travel, I try to get an appreciation of the culture, the people there. Like Hawaii, at one point in time, and I might still do this. At one point in time, Hawaii, we've been to Hawaii several times, 3 times or whatever. I would love to live in Hawaii. I know Hawaii is very expensive. It's still part of the US, but the respect that they have for like the culture, for the land, like for some of the traditions and things like that, it is just so refreshing to see, you know, how those things are incorporated into their daily lives that we don't see in the US as much. I'm sure there's different pockets of the country that do have areas where they incorporate that, but they just have so much. The people in Hawaii, they have so much respect for different cultures, like if someone passes away and stuff like that, you know, instead of you maybe getting a day off of work, like you could take like a whole week off of work just because they understand and they have that respect for that person or for the family that has lost someone or whatever. And I saw similar aspects in Jamaica with just how people rally around one another, how people are just so kind and so nice to one another and just so helpful. Like, and I don't think they were just doing it because they knew that like we were Americans or tourists or anything like that. It was just refreshing to see, because, and I say that because I saw other Jamaican people helping Jamaican people. Like people weren't just trying to help me as an American or whatever. It was like Jamaicans helping Jamaicans in certain situations and things like that. It was just refreshing. And like I said, we're seeing the kids going to school and stuff, how they look out for one another. Like the big kids look out for the little kids. Like we don't have that anymore, unless it's like your big brother and your little sister or something like that, or your big brother and little brother. Y'all look out for each other. But these kids, they were just like in the same school, and they were kind of, I won't say responsible for one another, but on the field trip, like the teachers was like, okay, y'all get a hand with the little ones or whatever. And they looked after them because that was their responsibility. And that was just the culture and stuff that they had. So I like that. I wish we could get back to that in the US so that we could just show more love to one another and everything. So let's see. What's up, Belford? Excuse me. I see that you're on. Good to see you. Belford, are you sipping on anything tonight? I know you probably have something. And while I was in Jamaica, I did bring some stuff back. So y'all probably see I brought back some rum that was unique to Jamaica. I forget, what is it? Appleton Estates, I think it's called. I can't remember. And some of the wine. I did have some of that Hennessy White while I was there. I did not buy it because I'm not a Hennessy drinker, so I was not going to be buying a whole bottle of Hennessy for it to sit there. Or maybe I could give it as a gift to somebody. But anyway, but it was good though. It was good to try some of the different rums. Mainly what I drank there was rum. So, and y'all know I love different rums. So it was good to drink some of the local stuff. Oh, and then I ate some other stuff that, and this is another reason I want to go back. I ate some of the local food. So where we were staying, it was a villa. So we had someone to cook for us every day. And I kid you not, y'all, everything. Her name was Miss Cece. Miss Cece, I miss Miss Cece because I've been having to cook for myself. Well, I ain't even cook. I haven't really been eating nothing. That's why we went out to eat tonight. So Miss Cece cooked for us. And there was not one thing that I did not like. And I tried a lot of new stuff, like stuff I had never had before, because only Jamaican food I really had was like oxtails. That's all I ever really had. I haven't really had anything anything else. And I like oxtails. She didn't make any oxtails, but we had beef patties, chicken patties. We had I think it was curry chicken. Um, we had curry chickpeas. I had never had that, but those curry chickpeas was the best. We had all kind of rice. We had happy rice. We had rice and beans. We had some kind of fish. I don't know how to say all the stuff. We had maybe it was curry fish. I don't know. We had a lot of the stuff did have curry in it. I don't know all the names. We had beef. We had some pork. We had some ribs. She even made tofu, and I don't like tofu, but her tofu, it was good. Everything Miss Cece cooked was the bomb. It was so good. And like for breakfast, we had fresh fruit. Oh, that's the other thing, y'all. The fruit is so fresh there. Like you can taste the freshness. Like all this stuff is processed. You could taste the freshness of everything. We had salads. Even the salads were nice and nice and fresh. The juices. We also had so with us staying in the villa, we had a cook who cooked. We also had a butler, and then we had a housekeeper that cleaned. So the butler, he would make juices every day, like fresh juices. Like there was one juice, the best juice he made ginger beer. He had, y'all, I was spoiled. That's why I was like, I want to go back. So they incorporate ginger in a lot of the drinks or whatever, which is good because it's healthy and stuff like that. But there was one drink, and he had rum punch every night. But there was one juice he made, and he said that he used watermelon juice, pineapple juice, and cantaloupe juice. That was some of the best juice I had. And then they made some kind of porridge. Like, y'all, I ain't eating no porridge. I think of porridge, I'm thinking of like, I don't know, what is it? That little orphan stuff. But that porridge was good. I'm telling you, it wasn't anything I ate that was not good. Not good at all. Let's see. Belford. Let's see. Hennessy. Ooh, pineapple lemonade is what I'm sipping on. That actually sounds pretty good, though. Belford. That sounds good. And he says, I have found that more poverty-stricken countries have the most genuine and great. Yes, Belford. It is so like, oh my gosh. Everyone was so kind. Like, even when I was leaving to go back to the airport or whatever, and I was on the shuttle, the van driver, he was just like telling me his testimony and stuff like that. And it was just so wonderful and beautiful and refreshing. Everyone was just so awesome. Like even though we had the Miss Cece, even though she was cooking fresh, she was like one of the best. Even the staff, because we were going, like I said, we were doing eye exams, and we were actually doing it out in a clinic. But the staff, they were very open and welcoming. And like I said, everybody was so helpful. And it was like everybody was on one accord to whatever the goal was, whatever the mission was. Everybody was working to try and make sure that mission was achieved or whatever. So I didn't see a whole lot of fighting or fussing or anything like that. And it just isn't always like that. And oftentimes too, you see people catching attitudes, especially, it's a whole bunch of people coming in and we're needing certain stuff. We're asking for certain stuff. And everybody was just so kind. And it's like, how can I help? What do you need? And that kind of thing. So I loved it for that. And not just the people at the clinic, like wherever we went. So I had a wonderful time. I worked. I also played as well. So there was some time for us to have downtime. So I definitely enjoyed the beach. After all the work was said and done, I had like one of the best massages I ever had at the spa. One of the best. That's all I can tell you. Everything was so nice, so good. I went for walks pretty much every morning. Only one morning I didn't go for a walk. Just seeing some of the greenery, like I said, the respect for nature, just seeing the beauty of the ocean, all that kind of stuff. Because I love taking walks because I feel like that's the best time for me to kind of clear my head, and just being in that different scenery and everything. That was just so refreshing. So I had a good time. If you've never been to Jamaica before, I was in Montego Bay. If you've never been in Jamaica before, I definitely encourage you to take a trip, and just see the different culture and see the beautiful people of that culture. So it was just really nice, and I'm sure you will see that in different places that you would travel, in different countries and things of that nature. Especially with all the stuff that's going on in the world today, it was just so good to see. And that's another reason why I cannot wait to go back and enjoy it some more, and also why I want my family to kind of experience it and everything too. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else that went on while I was there? Like the road, like they drive on the left side of the road. I'm also big on history. So now that I saw the beautiful people of Jamaica, like I said, I've been before, but it was like a really short, quick visit with us being on the cruise ship. But I think I'm going to be delving more into the history of Jamaica and how it came about and all that kind of stuff. And like even the whole West Indies and all that kind of stuff, the different islands over there. Just learning about the history of the people, because it's just such a beautiful, beautiful people, beautiful culture. That is just so refreshing. I tried to learn a little bit of Jamaican, or the patois. I'm not that very good. I learned a few phrases. Well, I won't even say I learned a few phrases. I learned a few words or whatever. With that, I learned I learned if usually you replace I with me. Um, Ire means like good. I don't even think I'm saying it right. Of course, they got yeah man or whatever. I'm not saying that right either. I think I just been down south for too long. But we had a good time. They were trying to teach me some of the language and how to say certain stuff. They say that they say stuff really fast and they chop off words. So like if it's something that ends in ing, you just leave off the ing, and say and say the word or whatever. But yeah, I had a really, really wonderful time there with the beautiful people, and I was so grateful. We helped almost 150 kids to have eye exams. A lot of these children had never had eye exams before, and it was just good. And a lot of them did need glasses, so it was so good to help those kids who needed glasses and everything like that. And like I said, those babies, we saw them. I forget the ages. I think because they go up to like sixth grade. So the oldest was probably like 12 or so. I don't think we really saw any teenagers, but those babies were so sweet, so respectable. Lord knows the manners that these children have was just phenomenal. Like I see kids just about every day in my office, and for this to be their first eye exam, and for them to be so cooperative and accommodating and respectful, it was just a testament to how they're being raised and everything like that. Like some stuff was new. There was everything was new, because a lot of them, it was their first eye exam. There was some stuff, they got to get drops in their eyes. So sometimes that can be a scary process and stuff. Some of them would say, yeah, I'm scared or whatever, but none of them had any attitude at all. Like some of the kids in the US, they get a little smart mouth or whatever, say some slick stuff to you. I did not have to do anything. I have to deal with anything like that when it came to any of these children. They were so respectful. And then they would say, yes, miss. That's how they would call you miss or whatever. Yes, miss. I felt like Mary Poppins because they kept saying, yes, miss, or whatever. So they were just so respectful, so respectful. I can't wait to go back and help more children who are in need, or see how I can use my services to help others. So yeah, I'm going to be on the lookout for other ways I can give back to the beautiful people of Jamaica and everything. So that was my trip in a nutshell. Let's see. Oh yeah, y'all. I meant to show y'all at the beginning. Can y'all see? Y'all, this is my little mug. Can't see. Okay. It's on my so it says Beauty Brains Bank. This is on my Etsy shop. Y'all don't ask for the link to the Etsy shop because I don't remember it. But but I had these for the longest. I keep telling y'all I'm gonna come out with some new merch. I have design stuff and I just have not uploaded it to the site. So I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try it one day. I'm gonna get around to doing that. But I got the mugs and the t-shirts on my site. Let's see. Belford, thank you for rocking with me. Because I know I was late putting up the stuff and I had the wrong daggone time on YouTube. Let's see. And Belford is saying, do you think they appreciate this saying more because it wasn't the normal and their parents made them aware of the gravity of the situation? Okay, so here's the thing. I don't think I think that was just how they were raised, because a lot of the kids, they were identified by their teachers that they were having vision problems. And some of the parents, I don't know if all of them, like they were trying to get like consent forms and stuff like that, because it was like a field trip for them or whatever. But some of them, all the parents didn't, I'm sure they were aware, but they didn't do the necessary steps, is all I'm going to say, for them to be seen, but we still went ahead and saw them and gave them the exams. I think they just have a very, very good respect for authority and people, like, adults and things like that. Like they stay, I won't say stay in their place. I know that sounds kind of bad, because they were still kids. Like, they would get antsy, they would play and stuff like that. But if you told them something, you didn't have to really like yell at them, or not saying you should yell at your kids or whatever. Like, you usually would tell them one time if they were quote unquote acting up, and they listen. They would be like, yes, miss. And they would just get in line. And it wasn't like they were really acting up or anything like that. They were doing things that kids would normally do, especially if you're waiting to get your eyes checked. Because it took us about, like I said, we saw about 40 kids a day when we were doing it. So if you think about that, if you're like one of the last kids or whatever, and it took us about 3 hours, 3 to 3.5 hours to do it. So if you've been someplace for like 3 hours and you're supposed to be sitting still, you, even as an adult, you're going to start getting fidgety and doing stuff you're not supposed to. But they just had a good respect of authority and of adults, and they listened very, very well. And they were just very eager and appreciative. They wanted to learn different things. There were a few kids where they were more withdrawn, and the fact that they were withdrawn showed in the fact that they needed glasses. Like, their world is literally right here. So you're going to stay in this little bubble if that's all you can really, really see, and you're going to be withdrawn. So those kids, yeah, you could tell some of the kids that really needed the glasses, because yeah, they couldn't really function. But yeah, I don't know, they just built different is is all I'm going to say. And and I think it's just the culture of like the amount of respect, the amount of appreciation that you're supposed to show to people. Like, they're so kind. And some of these schools are not Christian schools. The organization who was sponsoring like this trip or whatever, like who spearheaded it, they are a Christian organization. But so we always did like a song and a prayer and that kind of stuff. And even though these schools weren't Christian schools, they were still being taught Christian values in the schools, and like Christian songs and that kind of thing. And I know, like, here in the US, we've taken God out of school, and it just shows or whatever with their upbringing. But I think it's more so like that's just the culture. That's just how they are, to be appreciative and be thankful. And I think it's also just because they don't have as much stuff. So they've learned to make do with what they have. They learn to share. Like, one of the things we encountered, which we didn't take into consideration because this was like one of their first clinics that they did where they were seeing kids. So we didn't take into consideration, like, these kids are going to be here for 3 hours. They usually get here like 10:30. Maybe their school started at 8 or whatever. It's going to be snack time, or it's going to be lunch time or whatever. And some of the kids didn't bring lunch to school or whatever, or they didn't have their snack bag. And so we had a limited amount of snacks because we weren't accounting for that. And so some of the volunteers that were helping us, they were passing out snacks and they didn't have enough. And they just told them, like, hey, you're going to have to share. Y'all need, 2 people would have to share out of one bag. And the kids were okay with that. Like, our kids be like, share, like, what's that? I want my own bag. But they didn't complain or anything like that. Like, they were just so appreciative to have something, anything at all. So it's just the culture and everything, I think, from their upbringing and just their environment. So, and that's why I say I wish we could have more of that in the U.S. Everyone looking out for one another. And even like I was saying, my the van driver who was taking me back to the airport and he was giving his testimony, he was saying, like, hey, he lives in like a little shack, and he showed me like he had pointed out like the little shacks on the side of the road or whatever. Not saying that was his house, but he's like, that's how my house looks. And even though he doesn't have a whole lot of money, he says like once a month he donates to like a orphanage. He calls up the orphanage, sees what they need, and he just comes and he gives them like the supplies that they need or whatever. So that sense of community is just there. He's like, if someone came up to him and was like, hey, they were hungry or they needed something, he wouldn't hesitate to give it to them. Like, people are just looking out for one another. There was another incident, like one of the clinics was in our last clinic that we did was in what they call the bush, which is literally in the bush. It's like bushes. Like, they didn't have that particular building. The electricity is spotty. They really didn't have running water. Like, I literally went to the bathroom and I couldn't get the toilet to flush because I don't even know. And then like when I went to turn on the faucet, there was like really no running water or whatever. So they don't have like a whole lot of electricity or running water in that area. But anyway, the bush is like up in the mountains and everything. And it's a long trip just because the roads are very narrow and very windy, and there's a lot of potholes that you have to avoid. And so we got stuck in traffic as we were leaving the clinic, just trying to get back. We were stuck in traffic for like 4 hours, y'all. Like, it was a long time. And then we found out it was a tragic event where a school bus had flipped over the cliff and one child had actually died. So it was a really tragic event. But nevertheless, we were stuck in this traffic, and there's cars. Like, these roads are so narrow. There's cars on the side of the road. One car had broke down. His car would not start or whatever. And our bus driver literally got out the bus, did something. I don't even know what he did because I thought his battery was dead. He did something on the battery, and the car started, and he just hopped back in the van and kept on driving us. Like, that's the kind of kindness and stuff like the people were showing to one another on a regular basis. Like, it's just a common occurrence. It's like they don't think twice about trying to help someone who is in need. And I know, like I said, I would love for us to be more like that in America, but we've kind of gotten jaded because so many people are scammers and, not really in need, taking advantage of the fact that there are people in need. But in their country, they're just so willing to help, and it was just such a refreshing experience and everything to see from them. So, but yeah, if you get an opportunity to go, definitely check it out. So, but I'm not gonna keep y'all because I know I put the wrong time. It's not that many people on here and everything, so I'm sure y'all will catch the replay. I was supposed to do a live side hustle Saturday. I didn't do it, y'all. I have like I think I have 3 recorded videos that I need to put out there. I have not put out there. I thought I was going to have time, but like I said, I went to the Jamaica trip, and then the internet wasn't always there. It was spotty. I didn't really have reception and stuff um when I was there. So loading the video was not what I was trying to do. But I will try to do a live side hustle Saturday. But I don't know, since I know I have three videos in the stash that I need to get uploaded as well, and get those out there too. So we'll see. And before the information gets all stale and stuff like that, since they were recorded before I had left. But we'll see. I might have to re-record them and everything. But yeah, I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Thank you so much to everyone who joined. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Belford. I'm sure you have probably finished your Hennessy pineapple lemonade. Like I said, that sounds really good, actually. Yeah. Until next time, I will talk to y'all then. Take care and have a good evening.